In this video, we're going to learn something about the politeness, about the word politeness, and yes, of course, some polite sentences in our day-to-day life, which are very useful for us. Uh, well, uh, যদি দেখা যায় কোনো একটি পার্টিকুলার পার্সনের সাথে আমরা যখন মিট করি, if you meet someone who is a very new and a completely unknown person, so basically the first question that we used to ask to such person that what's your name, right? So if I don't know anyone's name, so basically we used to ask the what's your name, excuse me, what's your name. So is the sentence right? Yes, absolutely, grammatically the sentence is absolutely right, so there is no fault. But this type of sentences doesn't show any kinds of politeness, any kinds of courtesy. So this is not a very polite sentence, a kind of impolite, according to me. So instead of saying what's your name, we may use some other words, some other alternative words. Now the question is that why won't we use the word what's your name? If it's a right, then why won't you use? যদি ঠিকই হয় তাহলে কেন আমরা ইউজ করব না? Well, what's your name is kind of an order. It is an order. For example, suppose if someone is the very junior to me, I may surely ask the person that what's your name. আমি তাকে অবশ্যই জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারি what's your name. But if someone is not a senior, not a junior, if someone is very senior to me, or maybe a respected person, maybe a highly designated person, now for the first time I'm meeting the person, so in that case surely I can't ask them what's your name. That doesn't sound good. So in that case, we will have to use some of the polite sentences. Now what will be the right sentence here? The right sentence that we may ask, that we may use a variety of sentences. One of them is, excuse me, may I have your introduction please? Or may I have the pleasure of your introduction please? Or simply you can ask that, may I know your name please? May I know your good name please? So this type of sentences. So simply one of the sentences, you may ask that, excuse me, may I know your name please? Or excuse me, may I know your good name please? Or simply you may ask, excuse me, may I have the pleasure of your introduction sir? Yes, this type of sentences you may use. So that sounds very good, and that shows you are very polite, because you are not giving the order to an unknown person, you are just asking simply with your politeness, with some beauty in your sentences. So you are adding some of the spices in your sentences. Well, so let's learn the second sentence. The second polite sentence that you may use in your daily life is at the time of saying someone who is wrong. Suppose someone has done something wrong, so simply we may ask, we easily use that, you are wrong, right? You are wrong is a kind of directly you are hurting the person. It's a kind of harsh sound, and obviously that type of sentence is not good. So instead of saying that you are wrong, simply you may use some beauty in your sentences. You may say that, I think you might have mistaken. Yes, I think you might have mistaken. That sounds very good. And I think the person will also be very happy hearing such beautiful sentences. So the person, you were saying you were saying the person is wrong, but you are not saying with harsh word or harsh sentences. You are just using simply the polite sentence. Another sentence we can learn is that, suppose at the time of asking someone's number, কোনো একটা person's number চাওয়ার আগে, basically কোনো unknown person's number চাওয়ার আগে through the WhatsApp, maybe through social media, or maybe face to face, basically we ask or we use that type of sentence that, excuse me, give me your number, excuse me, drop your number. Now this type of sentence is a kind of order. Suppose you are asking the number to a girl, কোনো একটি girlকে number চাওয়া হচ্ছে. Now if you say that, excuse me, give me your number. Now if the girl denies to give you the number, then what will happen? It will be obviously your insult. If the girl says that, sorry, I can't provide you the number, I can't give you. So it means that it's a kind of direct insult to you. So instead of getting insulted, you may use the tricky sentences. You may say that, excuse me, may I have your number? Or excuse me, may I get your contact number please? Or excuse me, may I have your number please? Yes, this type of sentences you may use. So you are asking for the permission. By using the modal auxiliary, you are actually asking for the permission. You are not directly asking for the number. So if you say anyone that, excuse me, may I get your number? Now if the girl says that, yeah, obviously, why not, please note it down, then you will note it down. And if the girl says, sorry, I can't give you, it's a private number, no problem. It's not your insult, because you have asked for the permission. You didn't ask for the number directly. So ultimately this is a kind of more polite sentence. Well, the next thing that you may ask, suppose you have gone to your friend's house, and your friend is offering you something that, what would you like to have, tea or coffee? And you're saying that, you are answering that, I want a cup of coffee, or I want a cup of tea. Now that doesn't sound good, because you are not a child. You are not a child. If you are a child, so you may use that, well, I want a cup of coffee, I want a cup of tea. But as you are not a child, so I want, this particular verb is not suitable. I think it's not so much polite sentence. So instead of saying that I want a coffee, you may use that, well, I would like to have a cup of coffee, I would like to get a cup of coffee, or simply you may say that I will have a cup of coffee. So this type of sentence is actually very polite and very impressive sentence, right? Okay. Another sentence that you can learn, that suppose you want to tell someone that I want that file, or maybe I want that water bottle. Suppose the water bottle is kept there in the middle of the room, and you want other people to give you this one. Now in that case you must say that, excuse me, basically we use that, give me this one, or give me the bottle. So instead of saying give me this one, or give me that one, this is the type of ordering sentence. This is the type of order. So you don't have the full right to order someone unless the person is a junior. So in such sentences you may use that, excuse me, could you please give me the water bottle? Could you please pass me the bottle? Could you please give me your tie? So could you please is a more polite sentence. So this type of sentences is a very polite and very impressive. So suppose you want to have someone's phone. Now you may say that, excuse me, could you please give me your phone? So this type of sentence is very good, right? Okay, so that's all in this video. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, stay blessed, stay safe, and keep learning always. Thank you for watching.